Good morning, everybody, and thank you, Indian Chemical News, to give us this opportunity to have this session. Mainly on recycling technologies, bio-based feedstocks, and carbon footprint reduction in petrochemical industry. It's very important to first understand why we are here and talking about this. Before 1850, when the first commercial oil well was dug in Pennsylvania, which was not even 200 years back, we were very well aligned to Mother Nature and having all our lifestyle and whatever our things requirement was biodegradable, recyclable, and everything was in sync with else the other species of the Mother Nature created. But after 1859, when the first commercial oil well came out and the petrochemical industry started working, and especially in the early 90s, the mainly big brothers, companies came up creating new products, specialty chemicals, plastics, dyes, pigments, pharmaceuticals, and creating new platforms including polyester and PET, and which continue to bring on new and new technologies, including coming up in today's world like AI, phones, plastics, communications. And this created a lot of problems which was not biodegradable. And today, we are really fighting all the issues we ourselves created as humans. You go even 100 miles in a sea on a cruise ship and you find floating, plastic bottles. And there are many other such examples, not only on the sea, but also on the earth. And this countries are now struggling, heaps of recyclable material which is lying in our different cities, and many countries are even exporting to different other countries where they can manage it and can hold the cost. But we don't know how far it will go. There was a time when we used to go and look at it environment and look at Alaska tour as one of the destination. And I was told last week by my friend, don't go there. You can't even see anything there. If you have to see the real ice, you have to fly even from those ships by a helicopter. The sea level is rising. Our own environmental is degrading. We are seeing temperature rising, floods, all other things happening, which is reality now. Having said that, we have always found solution as humans to the problems. And I'm sure with the new technologies to be developed on environmental, on whether it is by recycling the waste or getting use into the feedstock, feedstock which is coming out to new applications and new molecules, I'm sure there will be new technologies coming up which will be finding solutions to our problems. And with the not taking more time, with all the experts sitting on both sides of me, who are experts in their own field, to find these technologies or support these initiatives, I'll request each one of them from left to Mr. Dharmendra to actually tell us what exactly they are doing very quickly in 2 minutes time, and then one by one we'll take the thing through, and then we go to the question answer for the next session. Please.
Good morning all. My name is Dharmendra. Sharma has introduced that I run a company called Mamleshwar Clean Fuel Private Limited, wherein we collect the crop waste. We are directly interfacing with the farmer. We collect the crop waste and convert it into a biofuels. It's a densified format of a crop residue, and it is in a replacement of a coal. What is happening, like as per the energy requirement of our country, a lot of coal has to burn to produce the electricity. So government of India has said that we cannot replace the coal, but we can at least blend it to a few percentage, like we started in ethanol. So currently,
biofuels. So without much ado, I would like to now pass on the baton to Mr. Dinesh Chopra, moderator. Thank you, sir.
Good morning, everybody, and thank you, Indian Chemical News, to give us this opportunity to have this session. Mainly on recycling technologies, bio-based feedstocks, and carbon footprint reduction in petrochemical industry. It's very important to first understand why we are here and talking about this. Before 1850, when the first commercial oil well was dug in Pennsylvania, which was not even 200 years back, we were very well aligned to Mother Nature, and having all our lifestyle and whatever our things requirement was biodegradable, recyclable, and everything was in sync with else the other species of the Mother Nature created. But after 1859, when the first commercial oil well came out and the petrochemical industry started working, and especially in the early 90s, the mainly big brothers, companies came up creating new products, specialty chemicals, plastics, dyes, pigments, pharmaceuticals, and creating new platforms including polyester and PET, and which continue to bring on new and new technologies, including coming up in today's world like AI, phones, plastics, communications. And this created a lot of problems which was not biodegradable. And today, we are really fighting all the issues we ourselves created as humans. You go even 100 miles in a sea on a cruise ship and you find floating, plastic bottles. And there are many other such examples, not only on the sea, but also on the earth. And this countries are now struggling, heaps of recyclable material which is lying in our different cities, and many countries are even exporting to different other countries where they can manage it and can hold the cost. But we don't know how far it will go. There was a time when we used to go and look at it environment and look at Alaska tour as one of the destination. And I was told last week by my friend, don't go there. You can't even see anything there. If I have to see the real ice, you have to fly even from those ships by a helicopter. The sea level is rising. Our own environmental is degrading. We are seeing temperature rising, floods, all other things happening, which is reality now. Having said that, we have always found solution as humans to the problems. And I'm sure with the new technologies to be developed on environmental, on whether it is by recycling the waste or getting use into the feedstock, feedstock which is coming out to new applications and new molecules, I'm sure there will be new technologies coming up which will be finding solutions to our problems. And with the not taking more time, with all the experts sitting on both sides of me, who are experts in their own field, to find these technologies or support these initiatives, I'll request each one of them from left to Mr. Dharmendra to actually tell us what exactly they are doing very quickly in 2 minutes time, and then one by one we'll take the thing through, and then we go to the question answer for the next session. Please.
Good morning, all. My name is Dharmendra. As introduced that I run a company called Mamleshwar Clean Fuel Private Limited, wherein we collect the crop waste. We are directly interfacing with the farmer. We collect the crop waste and convert it into a biofuels. It's a densified format of a crop residue, and it is in a replacement of a coal. What is happening, like as per the energy requirement of our country, a lot of coal has to burn to produce the electricity. So government of India has said that we cannot replace the coal, but we can at least blend it to a few percentage, like we started in ethanol. So currently 5% is the mandated one, that my fuel has to blend with the coal for 5%, and that requirement constitute to around 3 lakh metric tons a year, because we use coal at a humongous quantity. So, and on that part, so we are increasing the farmers' income by collecting their waste, paying them the value. Then we are creating the employment for the rural youth, because all of the plants are in the rural side of the area. And we are cleaning the air, because the parali which issues every time is a havoc to the New Delhi area, NCR. A lot of smoke comes out because the parali getting burned. So we collect that parali and we convert that into a biofuel. And so do the health and environment we are working. That's precise. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Colonel Sumeet Malhan. I'm CEO and CTO PRESPL. We do a similar kind of a role that Dharmendra ji essays. In addition to that, we also make the bioenergy. So while we collect the crop residue and we densify it, we are also putting it into energy systems to make, for example, steam energy, which is green, renewable, sustainable, carbon neutral. While doing this, we have also proven that this kind of steam energy, which is derived from the biomass, is also energy efficient. So that's a forward integration which has been done. We are an ESCO company as well. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. This is Kumar from Center for Higher Technology. As CST, in our earlier role, we used to monitor the refineries, and the nowadays refinery which are at par at global level are some of the initiatives which were taken 20 years back to upgrade these refineries, to optimize the energy efficiency, to bring at in terms of the quality level of the fuel, to bring at the global level. These are the some of initiatives we took earlier, but now in the current age of the energy transition, we are working on decarbonization of the oil and gas sector. Some of the programs we are working on, like the global petrochemical benchmarking for mostly for the olefins in India. Global refinery benchmarking, we are doing it with the Solomon, and right now we are working on the Site 2B program also, which is for the use of the green hydrogen into the refineries, and CBG and advanced biofuel program for the production and incentivizing them to bring down the cost of these biofuels. So, and further, as the CCTS system is about to come from the next year for the petrochemical sector, we will be coordinating in that also. Thank you.
A very good morning. I'm Samir Chikkali from CSIR National Chemical Laboratory, Pune, NCL Pune. So I represent CSIR, and I'm going to talk a little bit in the next round what CSIR is doing to get rid of waste plastic. So we have within CSIR a mission mode project where we are looking at right from segregation to catalytic pyrolysis to downstream. And I think in the next round I will present few slides what CSIR is doing to convert waste plastic either into a fuel or into value-added chemicals. Thank you.
Hi, LanzaTech is a carbon recycling company wherein with the use of synthetic biology through our own unique gas fermentation technology with the help of microbes, we not only capture carbon, but in a single step we convert it into ethanol. And ethanol to start with is a building block. And then we have our own technology which was developed by us, ethanol to jet. And subsequently we spun off a new company by the name of LanzaJet. And as I said, ethanol is actually a building block. Once you have that, it opens a plethora of opportunity for you to make any kind of C2 derivative. I think the clothes which we are wearing, packaging materials, and with the likes of Zara, Coty, L'Oreal, and Unilever, we are converting that recycled carbon into end product of daily use. And what gives this flexibility is that any waste carbon, it could be in form of a gas, or if you don't have gas, and then you can take agri waste, you can gasify that, you can take MSW, you can gasify that, and if nothing is available, and then also the CO2 can be taken along with hydrogen and converted into end product of daily use.
Thanks, everybody. And now I would like to actually break this session into two. First, let's talk about the petroleum industry, which is now, I'll form, the whole thing has come up, and, I'll say the problem creators. Pardon me for saying that. And then we will go to, the solution finders for alternate on biofuels. So first I go to, with a question to Dr. Samir. What are the most promising advancement in recycling technologies in the petrochemical sector? If you can throw a light on that, and how do you see role of chemical recycling evolving in the next decade?
So by that time they set up the slides. So I represent CSIR, and we work on different types of recycling technologies. Today I am going to give a brief overview of what we are trying to do for waste plastic. So in the morning there were, I think, a lot of talk about how much polymer India is producing. So we produce today about 20 million tons of polymers. Out of that, more than 60% is polyethylene, polypropylene. So in the mission project, we are targeting only these two polymers. So what can we do with polyethylene and polypropylene? If you look at global consumption is about 400 million tons. In India, we have about 20 million tons. The difference with the global scenario and the Indian scenario is globally, like in Europe and US, the consumption is stagnant. In India, it is going to grow. We did some part of it looking at how it is going to grow. I don't see the slides changing. Maybe can change the slides. I have, but it should change on its own. Yeah, okay. So I think I will not talk about this. We have done a very good survey in Pune to find out how much plastic waste Pune produces per day. If you look at these numbers, Pune produces roughly 99 tons of waste plastic every day. We have also looked at how much is recycled. If you look at, there is dark shade and a light shade. Dark shade tells about how much is recycled. If you add all these numbers, it's about 36% Pune is recycled. Pune is recycling the waste plastic. The remaining one, which is about 60 tons per day, where is it going? Or what is the fate of that plastic, or what is the end of life of that? So we are trying to look at how can we help industries to address this. If you go to any waste collection site, you will see these kind of pictures where there is a heap of plastic, and it is very difficult for even an expert like me to tell which is that material. Is it polyethylene, polypropylene, or PET? It's very difficult. So we are trying to develop a segregation technology. One of our CSIR labs are experts in developing sensors and actuators. So they have been able to develop an NIR-based segregation technology. There is a small video about it. So it's NIR coupled AI. That means what they have done is they have first sent the virgin resin and collected signals. So for example, for polyethylene, they have collected signals, and if that signal comes, the AI detects that this is polyethylene and throws into that particular bin. If PET comes, it detects and throws into a separate bin. So in this mission project, we are only looking at PE and PP, PET and other polymers. We are not looking at it. So this is basically, as of now, is about 100 to 150 kilo per hour segregation rate. And I think the large segregators, they need even higher rates. So there is a detection, you will see a light source coming, and that's where it is detected. So this, I think this video is little longer because of the time constraints. I will just move on, but this is about 100 kgs per hour segregation. This is based on NIR AI model. This is now integrated with 1 ton per day plastic pyrolysis plant. So this is not a simple plastic pyrolysis that you find in any city. This is another CSIR lab, which is called IIP, Indian Institute of Petroleum. I think some of my colleagues from IIP are also here in this forum. So there is 1 ton per day plant, and the segregation is integrated with this so that the plant gets only polyethylene and polypropylene. There is a small video about this. So once you give only polyethylene and polypropylene, not other polymers, it can produce BS6 grade diesel. Okay. Sorry. So there are a lot of free units. So there is shedding, there is washing, drying, and then agglomeration, and then it goes to the plant. So these are the agglomerates. So you increase the density of that and you send it to the plant. So there are 2 units. One looks at first melting it, extruding it, and sending it to a pre-processing unit, which converts into the gases, and the gases are taken to break them down to selectively to diesel 6. Okay. So this is what. So as of now, this is at 1 tons per day. We are also trying to look at what would be the commercially feasible scale at which this can be practiced by industries. The third one is we are also looking at local pyrolysis plants. Like in Pune, there are some. In Delhi, there are some. Every city has some pyrolysis plants. They produce some kind of oil which is called py oil, but it doesn't have any specifications. Because their input varies, their output will definitely vary. So we are trying to tell them how much other polymers the plant should take to get good quality fuel. Okay. So we also have a separate website where we look at globally what types of technologies are being developed, which patents are being filed, who is filing these patents, where are the press releases, and what these companies are doing. So this is kind of database available. As of now, it's available only to CSIR, but other companies, if they are interested, they can also approach us and we can give access to this one. The last one is we are looking at more futuristic. So we are saying, okay, can I take polyethylene and try to convert into a value-added product? For example, can I take polyethylene and convert it to 1-dacene or dodecene? Okay. So this is much more futuristic. This is in lab scale. So we have filed some patents. We have been able to show that we can take even real-world waste, like this is Dow shampoo bottle. So the outer cover we have taken and converted into dodecene. The selectivity is low, so selectivity is about 63%, but we are trying to improve it. So this is nowhere close to, I would say, a commercial case, but we are still doing it in the lab and trying to see if we can improve it. This is the last part where we are trying to see, can I make polyethylene like polymer, but from renewable resources? And can I do a depolymerization of that and then repolymerization? So I can complete the cycle. Okay. So I think if it is this is too much, I would not talk too much. So the long chain here, what you see on the screen is polyethylene like polymer. Okay, I think I cannot point it there, but you can break it down. So I have shown the NMR spectra here. So you start with the monomer, you make polymer, then you break it, then you can repolymerize again. So this is in a nutshell what CSIR is doing in terms of helping to get rid of waste plastic or convert it to value-added products. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. This is one of the most difficult job to segregate the the waste, because In all waste, you have got different kind of organic and inorganic stuffs, even sometimes metal in a Tetra Paks, and also I think it's a good opportunity to start. I'll take next, staying with the petrochemical industry, to Mr. Love Kumar. The question to you is, what strategies are being implemented in the petrochemical industry to reduce carbon footprint, and how do you measure the effectiveness of the carbon reduction initiative? And I'll just add on, maybe you can finish off both in 5-7 minutes. In your opinion, what role does legislation and policy play in encouraging carbon footprint reduction in the petrochemical industry? Please, over to you.
Thank you, sir. So coming to the first question, what are the initiatives to decarbonize the petrochemical sector? Petrochemical sector in India is mostly integrated with the refineries. All big petrochemical complexes are integrated with the refineries, and it is very important for these refineries to maintain their profit margin. Petrochemical sector should grow. Because if you look at the number, globally 20% refineries are getting shut down. So because of the energy transition or conversion, but in India, the case is different. We are still yet to reach the peak demand of the MS and HSD. So that's why we are coming up with the new refineries also. Now, coming to the petrochemical sector decarbonization, petrochemical sector was one of the sector identified during the earlier BE PAT cycle scheme. In the PAT cycle 4, for the energy efficiency improvement, petrochemical was one of the sector which need to comply with the energy efficiency norms. Now this PAT cycle system is being replaced with the CCTS system. The compliance guideline already declared by the BE in association with the Ministry of Environment and Forest. And there are some known method. There are some short-term procedures to decarbonize the sector. There are some long-term objective. For the short term, we are targeting that the energy efficiency improvement can be one of the pathway to, it's a kind of low-hanging fruit. So, the first step will be the benchmarking. You need to declare your baseline, energy baseline, carbon intensity, GHG baseline, which is one of the requirement under the CCTS system. And after the creation of the baseline, you will start working on the energy efficiency improvement system, which is the first step every organization need to take. And obviously the optimization of efficiencies, upgradation of the machinery, their use of the AI and ML for the optimization and reliability of the machinery. These are the, already technologies are available in the market. You just need to implement them. Then another short-term measure, which will be the substitution. So by substitution, we mean that most of these petrochemical plants are energy-intensive plant. If you talk about the naphtha crackers or steam crackers, these are the endothermic reactions, and they require lots of energy to do the cracking. So now people are shifting toward from the steam crackers to the electric crackers. The licensors are developing technologies. These are one of the substitution method, and these electric crackers can work on the renewable energy. So you can substitute your fossil-based energy to the green energy. And this is also the technologies are available in the market, and they are quite mature technologies. Then many petrochemical complexes are looking for the captive power generation, like the solar, floating solar. These are some of the energy substitution method which are already available in the market. Then the third important point is the use of the green hydrogen in the petrochemical complexes. Hydrogen is one of the mandatory raw material feedstock for production of polyolefins. So as of now, the industry is using gray hydrogen, and if we substitute to the green hydrogen, the carbon intensity can come down. So these are some of the short-term measures. But if you're looking for the long-term measures, there's a offset mechanism we need to work on, like the biofeedstock. the people are talking about the bioethylene these days, and bioethylene is already technology which is available in the market. Obviously, it is not economically or commercially viable, but if further scale up can make it more viable. And the another is the CCUS. It is a developing technology, and we can offset our CO2 emission based on these things. Now coming to the policy part, as I already informed, the CCTS system is going to be mandatory from the next year, and petrochemical sector is one of the sector which need to comply with the CCTS baseline. They have to define their baseline and need to achieve the target. If they are not going to achieve the target, they will be penalized as per the policy, or they have to purchase the carbon credit to offset their excess emission. But if they are reducing their emission beyond their baseline, they are going to get some carbon credit they can sell into the market. The another thing which is globally coming is the Global Plastic Treaty, which is under the UN umbrella. Recently, in November month, the 5th meeting of IMC, it's an intergovernmental Intergovernmental Negotiation Committee meeting happened in the Busan, and they are targeting one global mechanism for the plastic uses, from the generation of plastic to recycling and like decomposition of the plastic. And it is the globally binding treaty. So, but still there are some challenges, because even after 2 years of negotiation, it's a stalemate situation. We are not able to finalize the guidelines, treaty guidelines. But still, the work is under progress. 3,300 delegates attended this summit into the Busan last month. And regarding the pyrolysis, as mentioned, sir, in their presentation. So now everything, whatever the pathway we decide for the recycling of the plastic, decomposition of the plastic, it will be checked based on the life cycle analysis. If you are not emitting more CO2 compared to the CO2 you are saving by the pyrolysis process, so everything will be assessed on the life cycle basis, as we are doing for the sustainable fuels as of now. So we are awaiting that thing. And then another thing which is already defined under the Indian law is the EPR, Extended Producer's Responsibility. This is going to be one of the thing, if you are producing it, if you are consuming it, if you are using it for another purpose, you have some responsibility to proper recycle it, proper dispose of it. So these are some of the compliances. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Lok. So moving on to other side of, to Mr. Dharmesh. I just want to ask you, what are, the innovations in the biorefining or the conversion of biomass into petrochemical products? And what is the status of R&D to improve the efficiency of biomass and feedstock? Maybe in 5 minutes, please.
Yeah, innovations into the biomass, into the petrochemical is not directly, but as if we are not doing, but in ethanol it has been happening. Most of the parali and the feedstock is going for the ethanol production, and it is also going for the CBG. So if you talk about the feedstock, it's a common for many of the users, like SAF, Sustainable Aviation Fuel. It is also the same feedstock they are using. We are using the same feedstock. So the supply side, we are the same. In terms of the innovation from our side, what we are doing, we currently compressing, densifying the same biomass and preparing the fuel out of it. Further, what we are doing it now, we are pyrolysis the same biomass and converting into a higher GCV fuel. What is that process of pyrolysis, wherein we put it into a reactor, wherein this biomass get into a reactor with a high temperature in the absence of oxygen. Though most of the VM, which is volatile matter, goes up, and the GCV in that process, the gross calorific value of that material goes up. So, and that becomes the nearest to the coal. So it is not neither a biomass nor a coal, but it is a more refined fuel nearest to the coal properties. However, it will not emit the carbon because As you know, the property of biomass during the entire life cycle of biomass, let me just explain how biomass is carbon neutral, because many of the people ask this, that it also emit the smoke, and how it is not neutral. So see, during the entire life cycle of the biomass, if you see a tree and it is having a age of 25 years and it is 25 metric tons of a weight, so I see that tree not as a biomass, it is actually a composite deposit of a carbon and the photosynthetic, because entire life cycle of the tree has actually consumed the carbon out of the environment. So it is net deposit of that carbon. So even if you're burning it out in a controlled environment, it will not emit that kind of carbon which has been he consumed during its entire life cycle. So same goes with the crop. So in the cycle of 6 months, the crop absorbs the CO2 from the environment, and then it goes into a kind of a controlled environment burning, and the cycle repeated. That's how it becomes a carbon neutral thing. So the on the innovation side, we are going into the pyrolysis thing. The only challenge which we face that a lot of user for the same feedstock are coming. So that's the challenge we are facing currently. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Continuing with Mr. Vineet, what advantages do bio-based feedstocks offer over traditional fossil fuel in petrochemical process? And how does industry ensures the sustainability and scalability of these bio-based feedstocks, because they always are limited?
Sure. Thanks for that. So firstly, the advantages that a bio-based feedstock would offer over a fossil fuel is absolutely, I think, crystal clear. One of them is it's net carbon zero. So Mr. Dharmendra has already explained the life cycle of a plant or a tree. Whatever carbon dioxide it emits, it captures back. And especially the agricultural residue, we talk about it, it doesn't have the lifespan of a tree for 25 years. It's a yearly cycle or a half-yearly cycle. You plant the paddy straw, and you harvest it after a few months. Whatever carbon dioxide it burns out, it captures it again. So it's absolutely net, carbon neutral. The second thing is the factor of sustainability. Now, agricultural practice is going to be happening, on a regular basis, not going away anyway. We are going to have food to eat, and there is no competition between food and energy here. This is the waste that is being utilized from the farmlands. It could be the parali, that is the paddy straw, it could be cotton stalk, it could be corn cob. It's a pan-India, we have all types of agricultural residue, and you can pick up any of it, and any of it can be used for various types of bioenergy. One is, of course, replacement for coal, which Mr. Dharmendra does. One is it can be used for CBG plants. There are various types of technologies available to convert the various type of feedstocks into the bioenergy, into CBG, into ethanol. LanzaJet is sitting here, LanzaTech is here. They have their technologies for ethanol. There is methanol coming in now, there is SAF coming in now. So all of it is available, technologies are available. There are challenges with the technologies also, which I'm sure you'll take on. Just to put it from the feedstock side perspective, the pre-processing remains a challenge. So when you have the paddy straw, it needs the challenge of pre-processing it into sizing it down into the required parameters to feed into the technology is still a challenge because of the abrasive nature. These are works in progress. I'm sure as we go along in the near future, all of it will be kind of rectified. The main challenge which is coming in is the availability of the raw material as an input to the bioenergy system. Now, this is where most of the projects have actually kind of gone slightly wrong, and there's mid-course correction going on here. The thought process was that the availability is more than adequate of this renewable, green, net carbon fuel, which is sustainable in nature. They thought it's available on the fields, it's going to be there for the picking, you go and pick it up. But that's not what's going to happen. It's something which is lying on the ground. Even to pick it up, get it, keep it in a collection center, and make all of it available for the bioenergy system is going to cost a lot of money. Just to give you a small example quickly, if a plant requires 50,000 tons of biomass, let's say paddy straw in a year, this 50,000 tons has to be collected in a 45-day period, that is the harvest period. If you don't collect it in that, it's going to be burnt. So in 45 days, I have to collect 50,000 tons. This 50,000 tons has to be stored at a collection center. It has to be stored against the vagaries of nature. There has to be no degradation. And 120, 130 tons has to be supplied per day to the energy system. I'm talking only about 50,000 tons. If you look at the LanzaTech plant, they'll require 200,000 to 300,000 of biomass, quantities every year. So those kind of quantities are huge. Now, firstly, there's a cost associated with it. The second is, of course, the availability factor. Now, there is something called an assessment which needs to be done of the biomass availability. You have to site your plant in the location where the biomass is and not expect biomass to move to the location where your plant is. It's a very important factor which most of the plants get wrong. If the biomass has to travel, it makes financial prudence for it to move only about 20, 30, 40, 50 kilometers. It's depending on the type of biomass. If you move it beyond 50 kilometers, it's a light product. It cannot go further than that. It's a lot of money expenditure involved in the transportation. Hence the densification being done here. You have to identify the middle of that agricultural area where biomass is going to be available, situate your plant there, put a costing to the supply chain, and then set up the plant. If this entire ecosystem is created, there will be no challenge in the availability of feedstock because there is more than 700 million metric tons of this biomass waste available in India. Potentially, if you use all of it, we don't need to actually import crude. This is what the storyline is. So I hope that kind of answers the question, sir.
On the research and development, any inputs on that?
As far as developments are concerned, there are various technologies available for conversion of the biomass. There is technologies today available in terms of, let us say, firstly, the pyrolysis part of it, gasification part of it. There is compressed biogas, which is available as a replacement for the CNG aspect. Ethanol, bioethanol is there as a replacement for the petrol. SAF is a technology which is available. But most of these are evolving technologies. No one technology is actually made 100% there. We are very close to making the breakthroughs in most of them. Some of them are just getting commercially viable, and some of them are in the process. So the technologies, as far as the conversion is concerned, it is there. There are some very good technologies already in place to consume the biomass, and that is the steam boilers. You have most of the processes, the industries, including the chemical industry, needs steam energy. Today, steam energy can be provided from this biomass, and it's a win-win situation where the biomass industry makes money. It's a very stable technology, and the industry which needs this technology or needs this energy, steam energy, gets it at a 30 to 40% discount over the available fossil oils.
Thank you. Thank you. Moving on to Mr. Sumeet, what trends do you foresee shaping the future of recycling technology and sustainable feedstock in the next few years? And also I'll add on, and how important are partnerships and collaboration with researchers and companies and governments in advancing these technologies, you being a technology company, please?
Sure. See, with respect to future of recycling technology, am I audible? Hello? Yeah, it's better. Yeah. See, I'm going to touch upon when we talk about recycling. So this can have a lot of connotation. So I'm going to restrict it to recycling carbon, which is our USP. Love spoke about recycling the material and also EPR, which mandates any not only producer, also the importer to take care of entire supply chain and make sure it is disposed of properly. What we do is recycling carbon. And when we say recycling carbon, so any stream having CO, hydrogen and CO2, that can be taken, and we not only value add the facility, we also ensure that your sustainable targets and decarbonization roadmaps are taken care. When we convert that stream into a more valuable product. A classic example would be, we were just discussing, and again, when Love mentioned about bioethylene in futures, right? So there's a project in US which we are doing for a steam cracker. See, one of the way is, we wait for electrification of crackers, and as all of us know, the crackers of the future was a big project in Europe, which started 7 years back. Still, it will take time. So, in the interim, what had been started is for a big steam cracker facility in US, we are capturing the flue gases from a steam cracker along with Technip, and then we are converting the CO2 from that gas into ethanol. And once you have ethanol, as I said, it's a building block. you just dehydrate ethanol, you get ethylene. So that's how we are producing close to 55 KT of sustainable ethylene. And 55 KTA for a sustainable ethylene is a very big size. And the project was approved by US DOA, and close to 200 million of investment has also been granted for the same. And next thing would be that, again, you have any waste gas having, you take that gas, you reduce the emission, you make ethanol, you can convert it into a SAF or something else. So these things are taken care. And at the same time, you are also ensuring when you convert that ethanol molecule, like either if you convert it into SAF or you convert it into an end product like a t-shirt or a packaged bottle, you ensure that carbon molecule is not sent back to atmosphere. And even if you're using in making SAF, then also the net incremental SAF which you are making through utilization of a recycled carbon, that would have been actually made through a fossil fuel, right? So thereby you are saving that, right? And the second one was... okay. How important are partnerships or collaboration with researchers? See, partnership and collaboration. Yeah, so partnership and collaboration, that's actually very important. I think for a long time we have been hearing industry, academia collaboration, research and collaboration. And even if you look at the journey of LanzaTech, we started 2005. And our founder, Dr. Sen Simpson, he started from a room in New Zealand just 17, 18 years back. And how did he start was that he saw emissions happening, and then he wanted to, he thought, if something could be done. And today here we are, when we have emissions from a China plant, we take that, we make ethanol, and that ethanol along with our partners India glycolysis process to make MEG, we mix it with PTA and we make clothes from that. Just imagine, and all that has been possible through the support of the companies, like who believed in us, invested, and also the partners, see, you want to convert waste emission as, I think the first speaker was also mentioning, that a lot of partnerships, a lot of, let's say I'm looking after, I'm going to talk about the biomass or agri-waste. There has to be someone, who takes care of the supply chain and providing that. And then I'll fit in, which have my technology. Someone else will fit in, which can further value add ethanol. And that's how entire things happen. And also, when you start any technology or develop any technology, you start in, we call it the technology readiness level, right? So take it from lab scale to pilot to demo and commercialization. A lot of partnerships and trusts are required. So that's it. That is how it happened. And a classic example again would be like when we convert our ethanol into SAF through ATJ route of which is approved by ASTM. So the first step has to be a dehydration of ethanol. You make ethylene and then you convert it. So there itself, there are two ways. You start from the scratch, or you partner with someone, who has that. And then, let's say you have some proprietary internals or equipments. You have your design in mind. You partner with any vendor or fabricator, with your design. And that's how it happens. In fact, if I draw a parallel, what happens with, like what happened in oil and gas industry and how like India became like self-sufficient with respect to fabrication and all that. I think when we started that in 1965, more than 90% of the stuff was imported, right? But today, if you look at 95% plus of the equipment are fabricated in India, designed in India. So partnership definitely plays a crucial role.
We have 5 minutes more? 5 minutes. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for the example. Now, I'll have a 1 minute request for all the panelists is, what advice would you give to startup or innovators looking to enter the field of sustainable petrochemicals? So I'll start with you and then we can go one by one. 1 minute, please.
Hello. My advice is that how simple it looks, it's not like that. So take it seriously while you come to this particular thing, because there are a lot of challenges. Like the biggest one is the supply chain management. Like, we say that we are collecting the crop waste and converting to a fuel. But when you go into the field, you need to talk to hundreds of different minds of people, managing with them, managing the entire supply chain people is very a tricky job. So the piece of advice is what, like, first learn the lesson, then get into the field.
Thank you. My advice would be for anyone wanting to enter any of these fields would be look at a project holistically. Whatever you're planning to do, setting up whatever type of project or industry, be a part of it, look at the holistic viewpoint of the entire project. Start from one end, from where you're going to get your input materials from, till the last mile delivery, till when you sold your product. If you don't look at this entire holistically and you miss out even one minor component, it's not going to work.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, rather advice I want to tell my wish as a oil and gas sector company from different startup with different technology startup. Mr. Dharmesh also mentioned that there is a supply chain challenges are in the biomass feedstock supply chain. So basically, if we can develop some technology which can process this biomass pre-treatment at the field site, and transfer this, the processed feedstock, which can be stored into the, as the other feedstocks are being supplied, other chemicals are being supplied to the plants. If such kind of technology if developed, and many startups I know that who are working on that area, so it is going to be a big advantage for the industry, because the biomass aggregation we are talking about, it needs lots of land also for the storages. There are many collection centers. There are so much machinery is required, because the time frame is very less. You need to store the biomass for complete 1 year. So if we can process the biomass at the collection level only and use this processed biomass into the industry, then it is going to give a big push for the industry. So that's if some startup want to work on that.
Thank you.
So my advice would be to look at plastic as not one thing, because I think most of the people who don't know polymers, they think that plastic is one material and so everything can be processed. So before you get into this, I think you should first understand what are polymers. There are at least 20 to 30 different types of polymers. Okay, so you first figure out which one you want to recycle. Try to see if there is a possibility of developing a reverse supply chain, like what we try to do it in Pune. And the waste plastic recycling business is going to be a decentralized business. You cannot have a centralized facility, because the transportation costs are going to be very high. The density of plastic is very low, so you cannot transport beyond maybe 50 kilometers or 100 kilometers. So it has to be a decentralized solution. So there is a good opportunity for startups, but I think they should first know what they are going to deal with, and then they can try to invest.
Yep. Advice would be, just drawing a parallel from LanzaTech journey, would be have a clear vision, learn to think out of the box. It can be made possible. At the same time, when you are growing, use stage gate processes, so that let's say after the lab scale, or you are clear where you are, what are your competitors, what's the market. And one of the key thing is, to look at the addressable market available. One of the things I forgot to mention is, recently we also came out with a different microbe which can directly convert a CO2 to protein. So protein is something, which any one who goes to gym, he needs it. And there are vegetarian people, who don't want to take like fish cod liver also, something of that sorts. And if you look at the addressable market, it's more than like 1 trillion market. So that's a breakthrough, which we came out just with. Initially, the plan was to make something else, but then eventually, when you try to fit in a different part of, and then you see, so what can be done. So think big, at the same time be practical. Very important to use the stage gate processes to see what to do, where to go next.
Thank you very much, everybody, the panelists. I think we need to solve the problem. There's a lot of biomass available, and globally we have 8 billion people on planet Earth, and we waste almost, as per the statistics, almost 50% of the food itself, and I'm not talking about other biomass. So I think As long as we can have a distributed processing facilities and capturing carbon out of that and make the planet more, or regenerate, I think, planet for more, living more longer, and do not, creating problems for the human beings and next generations to come in. So thank you very much.